The dynamic duo kicked off the week with us. They're wrapping it up. See why a bunny can make a difference in your kid's life. Coming up on this morning's Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Wildlife Action Adventure Camp on the Little Peony River in Mullins. We're focused on upcoming day camp and overnight camps. And we're visiting with Bunny Beeson, the founder and president of Wildlife Action. Good morning,
That's
Bunny.
filter water.
Oh, my Lord, better blues. It's here for a reason. Thank you so much.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's such a treat being out here, Bunny. This has been a blessing all week long. And, of course, yesterday with Carolyn Jabali and earlier in the week with you and Frank. Just a treat to kick off the week. But to know, of course, very soon it'll be teaming out here with kids.
That's right. We had 200 and some this week. And we've got camps filling up real well right now.
Of course, you know, you got the day camp, I think, kicking off on what, June 6th?
June 6th, from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday for day camp, and then the overnight camp, which kicks off, I think, in mid-June.
Right, and it goes through the 1st of August, and that's from Sunday to Friday, and it's from come and spend the night and stay the whole week for $300.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it's a real good price.
I know I heard you talking on Monday about some of the scholarships, and I'm sure probably much of this week folks have been calling in to lock up those scholarship
Yes, they have.
opportunities.
They have been calling, yeah.
We're prayerfully hopeful that'll continue, and hopefully more folks will look at scholarship opportunities for y'all. 800-753-2264 is a number we've been pumping up all week, and of course there's a great little slogan on there. What is that?
Well, yeah, the slogan is to put back more than we take. Let me tell you how we solve a problem. Wildlife Action was developed and created by myself in 1977 to be able to handle some of the issues. First of all, what you're doing here this morning is bringing public awareness. A lot of people are so busy this day and time that they don't have time to look after things that they need to, so they look at government to do it or someone else to do it. I was a scoutmaster for 15 years, and I'm an Eagle Scout, and I love taking care of this good earth. And so some of my scouts came to me and said, Bunny, why don't you help us continue this? How do we teach our children? I said, well, we need to form an organization. We need to bring public awareness. That's what we're doing. Okay, we need to have a slogan, because they're going to ask us, all the public out there is going to say, what do y'all do? Well, we put back more than we take. If you cut down a pine tree, we all need paper, plant 2 back. Okay? Well, that's good. How are we going to do that? We got to call somebody from Washington? No, no, no. We have a motto, local folks solving local problems. So 1, we want to bring public awareness. 2, we want to put back more than we take. 3, we're going to do it ourselves. Who knows more on how to do my problem than me? Why do I need somebody from Washington, D.C. looking over my shoulder? I don't. That's the freedom of America. That's the pioneer spirit. That's self-reliance. That's how the problem's solved. That's what we teach. Now, that's pretty good. We got to have some kind of law. We got to have some kind of way of governing our membership. Well, because they are all not going to remember everything. So preservation, conservation, education, sportsmanship, fellowship. So we're going to preserve certain things. There's certain things we want to preserve. For instance, the Grand Canyon, the Statue of Liberty, a way of life. Okay, there are conservation. Of course, that's wise use. Cut 1 tree down, plant 2 back. Use, not abuse. Education encompasses the whole thing. I hit your mic. I'm sorry, people. All right, education is the whole thing. Then sportsmanship, that's good manners. If you go hunting on someone's property, may I? Follow me? This is good. When you bring some game back, ask the people who own the land, would you like some? Shared. Outdoor ethics. Good manners. Something that this country needs to get back to. Good manners. And then sportsmanship. Sportsmanship, fellowship, you got it. Fellowship, what do you mean? Well, we're going to do all 4 of these laws and have fun doing it.
Right.
We'll have a snake bog or a chicken bog or a snake fry or fish fry or something and learn from one another. And we incorporate all this in a round circle, just like this patch.
Right.
And it says everything that goes around is the ecosystem, and it comes around, goes around, and there it is. Simple as that.
Bunny, you know, and Carolyn almost added one yesterday, stewardship.
Absolutely.
Wanting to make sure there was a big focus in that regard. It was so great seeing her with keepers of the earth there.
Yeah.
And really helping remind folks, and really the desire to get kids out here and make sure they touch the earth.
Well, you know, a school teacher will call me up and say, Bunny, I want a class on butterflies. They teach you that in the 6th grade at wherever. and I'll call what we have ambassadors, and the ambassadors are people in my computer. They could be college professors, retired military people, retired school teachers that know something about butterflies. I pushed a little button. I got 16 people that know about butterflies. I call them and say, can you teach a class from 10 to 12 on August the 6th? And there we go, or whatever. And so my job as the coordinator is to put round people and round holes, round pegs and round holes. And I do a very good job of that. We are almost 28 years old, starting April 26th. We're on our 29th year. We are worth about $1.5 million, and we own over about, in fact, I haven't mentioned this, but we just got 480 acres in Carolina Forest at the beach given to us by IP for their Highway 31 mitigation on all the wetlands they destroyed. So the judge has 15,000 acres out there, and he says, well, we could give you one big patch, and then we could all go hunting and all. I said, no, why don't you just give me a strip about 150 yards wide, and it runs from Highway 9 all the way to Highway 501. So everybody that plans to build out there is going to have to come talk to Wildlife Action, because we ain't building.
Right.
Don't you just love the way we bring public awareness to things?
That's great thinking, Bunny, to get involved and, of course, to be able to communicate with the judge and let them know that y'all are interested in conserving the community.
See, animals need to have shelter, food, water. And the reason they need shelter is so they can travel. The last bear colony was in the Beeson property where Carolina Forest is. I tried to save that in 1984. In fact, we had little kids at Waccamaw schools wearing BEAR, B-E-A-R, Bears Emergency Action Required. Well, we lost the fight. Carolina Forest is there. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to say progress is not good. But 26 bears were killed last year by motorists. 26. They have no place to go. So IP sees part of the problem. Since they benefited from making a housing development selling land, they also have a good partnership. They're trying to work with us. So this is not a put down by any means. But they said, okay, we'll give you 480 acres. So I want it so that the bear and the deer and the raccoons and all can travel to water where water's at. So that was the reason that we wanted a little pathway. So we calling it a corridor green, you know what I mean, type thing. Absolutely. So it's not for us to benefit financially or physically or any other kind of ways for the animals.
There's also that great slogan, if someone calls the 800-753-2264
now you're gonna put me on the spot.
Which I never get it right. It's simple, I know, and it came from, it's an Indian proverb, I suppose.
Well,
I've seen it somewhere.
It says, tell me I forget, show me I understand.
I remember, involve
me I understand, yes. Tell me I forget.
Right. Show me I remember, involve me I understand.
And I said it, people, I can't remember.
I know, my Lord, I should have put you on the spot. I'm
That's
sorry.
all right. That's
I've
okay.
heard you say it 100,000
Well,
times, so everyone knows it's road to,
yeah.
But it's much more than road. I mean, this is something that you really believe and you all live
absolutely.
by.
That's right. Yes,
you all
we
live
do.
by, and camp is what it's all about.
Yeah, and this is how we bring public awareness, is camp. We have ICTs, instructional camping trips. Frank has canoe trips.
Oh, yeah.
Every weekend or every other weekend. We are constantly bringing public awareness. People cross the bridges all the time and cross the rivers and never know what they're going to miss. And I think Carolyn alluded to barefoot on the ground. That's true, people. We need to get back to the earth a little bit. And some people who, my father, let me just say this, for all those fine folks out there that don't like it, my father's idea of camping, primitive camping, is the Holiday Inn. And I mean, he is not going to go camping. So it's not for everybody.
Right.
But there need to be places of wild and sanctuaries for animals if we don't ever use them. We cannot continue to destroy things. I'm preaching, I'm sorry. Greg.
Yeah, no, of course, this is about camp. We just got a minute. And, of course, why would a viewer, if a viewer's watching right now and they think maybe their niece or their nephew or their granddaughter or their grandson, why would they want to give a call? Why would they want to call the 800 number, go to wildlifeaction.com to sign them up for either the day camp or the overnight camp?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, since my time's up. I want to thank you for coming and bringing public awareness. But one of the reasons is our camp is not for everybody. We're pumping it like it is, but it's not. But I would tell you that if you've got a daughter or a nephew or a niece, they could come here and find out about the Good Earth. And once they come here, we have an 87% return rate. They find out what they're missing. I had kids this week say, I've never paddled a boat. I've never fished. I've never been in the woods. I've never done this or that and the other. Let your child come and explore. Feel the excitement of the adventure. And if it's not for them, they'll tell you. And nothing gained, nothing lost. But if you don't come and you don't gain it, you won't ever venture to have a good experience in your life. You can't hit a home run unless you swing the bat, and you can't swing the bat unless you come up to the plate. I suggest you bring your child to the plate, and that's camp.
Those are great words. Bunny, thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for being with us this
Yes,
morning.
sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Frank Oliver coming up next.
Myrtle Beach's locally owned newspaper, for locals, by locals, about locals. The Myrtle Beach Herald, locally owned, locally operated, locally read. Subscribe now. Call 843-626-3131.
Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Wildlife Action Adventure Camp on the Little Petey River in Mullins. We're focused on upcoming day camp and overnight camps, and we're visiting with the Camp Activities Director, Frank Oliver. Good morning, Frank.
Hey, nice to be back with you.
Thanks so much for coming back. You know, on Monday you were here with Steve. It looks like you got a new guest with us.
Yeah, I don't have Steve the Ghost Corn Snake today. I have another one. I brought this one because I kind of wanted to introduce you and some of your viewers to some of the exciting opportunities that we have out here for researchers and students and kids of all ages, really. This snake here is a ringneck snake. And what's interesting about this snake is that it was captured out here on our property, and it's part of a herp inventory that the Francis Marion students are doing for us. And a herp inventory is basically just, they're coming out, they're surveying our reptiles and amphibians, you know, snakes and lizards and the like, to see what we have out here on the property. But what's really exciting is we have a previous herp inventory from the 80s. So we get to compare our research now from our research from the 80s, and it kind of gives us an idea of how our management's going of the property. And this was one that was uncovered under some cover boards that are laid out along the property in some of our study areas. And we've captured actually a wide variety of snakes and lizards and spotted salamanders, marble salamanders. Let's see, they've had about 6 or 7 different types of snakes. You know, so it's going pretty well.
You know, all week, Frank, up behind us, up on the wall, we've had lizards climbing up the wall. Susan Carter was with us from the Marion Foxtrot Festival coming up this weekend. There were events. It was fascinating on Tuesday, seeing a lizard roll up. I think even Carolyn yesterday. It's amazing. I think even with Bunny up just a little bit ago, it must be wonderful being out here.
It is. I really feel like I have the greatest job in the world. I do. I get to introduce kids to God's beauty out here, and I get to work to try to help protect it. And it's really exciting, you know. I get to do the things that I love to do, and I feel very fortunate, you know. My main emphasis on coming out here was for the kids, and that's what this whole place is geared toward, is toward kids, and adults as well, you know. But we like to work with the children. We like to show them, you know, what nature has to offer and why it is important to learn a little bit about it. One other thing that I think is really exciting out here for researchers and scientists as well as the kids is, as far as along with our cover boards, we also have like a variety of different duck boxes and bluebird boxes, and we have students coming out checking those too. And from their research, we've determined that about 2/3 of all of our boxes are being used by ducks. We have wood ducks, eastern bluebirds, white-eyed vireos, all kind of different, even eastern screech owls are using one of our duck boxes.
Frank, share with viewers the significance of a duck box. Why? I mean, when you say using them, what does that mean exactly? I mean, why?
Well, what they're doing is giving them nesting habitat. You know, a lot of the habitat nowadays is gone, and so we are out there and we provide a box with a shield around the bottom to protect it from predators. You know, no raccoons or anything can get up in there and disturb the nest. And it gives them a new place to nest and somewhere that they wouldn't have otherwise.
That's great. That's great. You know, it's so exciting when you're out here. And of course, when you were with us on Monday, you shared the experience for your 2 sons, a 9 and I think 10-year-old.
That's right.
And of course, the excitement last year for you to see them growing up. What first introduced you to Wildlife Action Adventure Camp?
Well, you know what? It's kind of funny. Carolyn Jabali, who was on your show the other day,
Yesterday, right.
She introduced me to Wildlife Action. Her and I were actually on the side of the road picking up trash for another group. I'm serious. We were on the side of the road picking up trash one day, and she said, and I happened to bring my kids and some of their friends, so I had like 6 or 7 kids with me walking down the side of the road picking up trash. And she was on the other side of the road, and she started talking to me, and she told me, you know, you seem like a great guy, seem like somebody who might be interested in wildlife action, and I didn't even know about it. It's been here 28 years. And I told Bunny we ought to change the name of this place to the Hidden Jewel of the PD rather than Wildlife Action, because a lot of people just don't know about it. But she introduced me to it, and I came out here and started working with Bunny, as I told you last time. And things have just progressed, and I'm fortunate enough to be on staff with them and get to share my knowledge and my love of nature with a new generation of people.
What was so fascinating on Monday, Frank, was to learn you do this full time now.
That's right.
That's not. I mean, it's incredible, of course, to be out here in nature full time all the time. As you say, you must have the greatest job in the world.
I do. It gets tough, you know, because it is a private organization like this. We don't have the state funding and stuff like a lot of other big groups. So the people that are here, they're really dedicated. You know, they volunteer their time, and I work. It's not just 9 to 5 like a lot of jobs. We have to do a lot of public hearings, you know, a lot of weekend work, but it's all to the good. You know, it's to the greater good. It's for the community. It's for the children. You know, so I really enjoy it. It's not exactly a job to me. It's something I love. It's my hobbies anyway, so I feel blessed to be able to be here and work with them.
It was wonderful, Frank. For your sons last year, when they were here, of course, I think you said on Monday that they're in for 2 overnight weeks this year.
That's right.
But for them, what was the most exciting? I mean, of course, it's kind of difficult for you because you want to make sure you're giving full focus to everyone who's out there.
That's
There's
right.
no special treatment for your boys. You probably even didn't let a lot of people know they were your sons. I mean,
That's
to make
right.
sure that. So, but I mean, it must be incredible to see the thrill for them. Had they ever experienced something like this?
Well, actually, since the time they were about 4 years old, I've had them jumping out the boat, you know, in the river. So they've learned to swim. They kind of grew up a bit on the river. But even those kids like that, like my kids that have been all outdoors and stuff, it's still great to come out here because I believe last time I told you that we had kids from all over the country come here.
Right.
But we also have instructors from all over the country come out here. We have people from, you know, as far away as Nevada who come out here and they teach classes for us, and we have a lot of experts in different fields. We have scientists from Francis Marion, from Clemson. You know, they're scheduled to come out here this summer camp and help us. We even have people like Rudy Mankey who comes out, and he's giving guided tours out here for us. So we have people from all over the country come and help us out.
You know, oftentimes you'll see a parent or a grandparent or an aunt and an uncle who's a little anxious sometimes about their kid coming out, if they're a city kid, because they're afraid that they're going to be picked on because they don't know anything about the environment. Have you seen the kids who know a lot about the outdoors or have grown up around that working well with the kids who are it's entirely new to them?
Well, I don't think we have that problem so much because what we do is we look for those characteristics. We look for kids that have that leadership ability, and we try to put them in that role of leadership, you know.
Right.
And in that way, they can help. Instead of, you know, picking on someone, they can just share their knowledge and give them a role that's better suited, you know, than just to be overbearing. They get to share their knowledge, and that's another thing with me. It's the greatest job in the world. I get to learn as I teach, you know. So I'm always learning, and I enjoy it.
For the day camp, I think Bunny shared, and of course that's 5 days, Monday through Friday, 5 hours a day, and it's as reasonable as $300 or $400. I mean, the excitement there to know maybe it was even $100. I mean, to break that down, 5 hours a day, 25 hours. That's just $4 an hour.
That's right.
$100. That's incredible.
Yeah, that is good. And also our overnight camps are from Sunday to Friday.
Right.
You know, so they get to be here all that time doing the overnight session too. And the kids really enjoy the overnights, and they get to have when they come out here, they don't want to leave. You know, that's the point I want to say. My kids, when they come out here, they just didn't want to leave after a while, you know. So when they come out here, I think they're really going to enjoy themselves.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. You know, for you, Frank, of course, there's so many activities going on. What are some of the other activities going on year-round? I mean, it's not only Wildlife Action Adventure Camp. This is Wildlife Action. I mean, there is stuff going on year-round. What are some of the things for you during the year that folks would want to learn about? For instance, if they don't have any kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews, no interest for them in getting folks involved in the adventure camp, what are some things that they could be involved in, and are there membership opportunities for folks in the community?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. Right now we are kind of stressing camp because, you know, it's right here in the summertime, but we have events all year long. We have our guided canoe trips, which I mentioned on Monday, and they, you know, we go all over the southeast here. We hit all the major water bodies. We have instructional camping trips, and we have kids come out and basically, you know, just teach them how to camp, give them wilderness survival skills. We also do things called owl prowls, which are, we have audios of the owls, their mating calls, and we have amber lenses that we put over the flashlights, and we can play the audio and then put the amber lenses out, and the owls will come right up to you, and they'll give you their calls, and you can see them, you know. So we have a bunch of different variety of activities all year long.
That must be amazing. Now, where could viewers learn about that? If they call, obviously, the camp numbers, the 800-753-2264 number.
Yes, sir.
Could they learn about some of that at wildlifeaction.com?
They can. We have a calendar on there on the website which lists a lot of those events. But another way, which probably gives you more detail, is if you do get a membership, which is only $40 a year for you and your whole family. With that membership, that opens you up for all of our fishing that we have out here, and our ponds are stocked by the Department of Natural Resources, so the kids get a good chance on coming out and catching a fish. But also you get a Pride magazine, Wildlife Pride magazine, and it'll list in there the different events that we have, and it tells you all the different calendar of events, schedule of events that comes up.
Great.
And it also gives you different articles about maybe farming in South Carolina, or different heritage preserve areas, or hunting education courses that are upcoming, so the Pride magazine will give you all the details really of most events that are occurring.
And I see that's the May-June copy, so this is a bi-monthly publication.
That's right. 6 times a year.
6 times a year, Wildlife Pride.
Yes, sir. And this one here, it tells you most everything about our camps upcoming, and it has Indian lore, swimming, canoeing, archery, tug of war, environmental education, pottery, fishing. And that's just a small list. There's actually a list that covers both sides of one page that are the events that we try to cover out here at Wildlife Action. Yeah.
Now, how many folks, of course, Bunny, the founder and president's been doing this, seems like forever. I mean, I know you mentioned back to 1977, and I think he mentioned that some of his former scout troop had helped get him interested in really doing something to preserve the area. The other exciting thing he talked about last year was that it's 57 acres out here. They're only using 2.5 of those acres, and then, of course, the 3.5 for the main pond right in the center there. But I mean, 6 of the 57 acres. You got 51 acres totally untapped.
Yes, sir, that's right. We actually, and this is just one small property that's either owned or managed by Wildlife Action. Altogether, Wildlife Action owns or manages 50,000 acres in South Carolina. Yes.
In South Carolina?
That's right. There's 3,000 acres at Santee. We have another 25 acres right over here in Zion, and it has a duck pond in it, has trails through it, and it's a different type habitat than this. It's an upland forest. So, there's a wide variety of places that you get to see if you join Wildlife Action.
That is fantastic. Now,
Yes,
did you say only $40 a year?
$40 a year for you and your immediate family.
Are you missing a zero there? Is it just $40 a year?
Just $40 a year. That's right. So
Wow.
that's pretty cheap, because actually I've paid a whole lot more than that just to be able to fish in a pond where I live. So it's a great benefit. It's a service to the community, and as I said, it's something we all do for the kids. People come out here and they volunteer their time and efforts, and of course, we're always looking for other people who are interested, who want to come out and share their knowledge with kids, or at least come out here and kind of help wrangle the group together.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're volunteer opportunities.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If folks call the 800-753-2264 number, someone will call them back if they say, I want to volunteer. Do you have to be an outdoorsman to volunteer?
No, that's the great thing about this group. We have hunters, we have non-hunters, we have environmentalists, we have farmers, we have all these different groups of people who basically are working together. We have a saying, when we go to talking in our board meetings or whatever about people, we always try to bring it back to little Johnny. Everything we do needs to be geared toward little Johnny if it's going to help him, So that helps kind of settle any kind of disagreements or anything that we're working around. We kind of come back toward little Johnny to try to make it good for the kids.
Those are great words. So oftentimes there's a lot of folks who want to help kids, but they don't know a vehicle to make it happen. They don't know if they can go to a local school, or they don't have time. Oftentimes you'll see folks just take a whole week off or more to be out here to help volunteer.
Yes, sir, that's right. Even those, like you said, who aren't necessarily outdoors people, they might come and cook supper for the kids one night,
right.
Or they might come and bring some paper products, whatever they can do to help. And it really is a great benefit, and we're very appreciative of it. The community has supported us wholeheartedly. That's how Bunny, has kept it going for all these years.
I think it was since September. Now, when did you come on full time? Was it back in September?
Right. I started with them in June, and then about September is when I started full time with them. That's right. And been going wholeheartedly ever since.
Yeah.
It's getting better every day.
Have you met? Are there some other folks like you? Obviously, there can't be a heck of a lot of folks on staff.
No, there's not a whole lot of people on staff. not because people really don't want to be. You know, a lot of, like I said, we're a private group and we're
Right.
privately funded. We don't have state
not
grants and stuff like that. So the money's not always there, but the heart is there. And you know, we're working toward the money too to try to build it and spread the message and spread the goals of wildlife action.
And Bunny talked about some of the scholarship opportunities for folks if they couldn't afford to even $100 for the opportunity to have their child out here from 8 to 1 the week of June 6th through the 10th. It's a great opportunity. Please call that 800 number.
Yes, sir. We have a lot of businesses. What they'll do is, it's exactly what they'll do. They'll have an underprivileged kid who might not can afford to come, and a lot of times it's a life-changing experience for kids. And if their business or an individual will sponsor a kid for camp, you know, we'd be glad to list them in our pride as a sponsor and thank them for their help. You know, so a lot of businesses do that. And last year we had 40-some scholarships. You know, that's what is that? $12,000
Wow.
donated,
Wow.
or $1,200 donated to help us with kids.
That is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Frank, thanks so much for being with us this morning. You and your new friend.
Thank
Love
you.
being with you and Steve on Monday.
Okay, I thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Frank Oliver coming up next. We didn't get to talk about Frank's biology degree from Francis Marion, but we did get to talk about some of the amazing activities happening at Wildlife Action Adventure Camp. We couldn't talk about all the activities, but we were able to highlight the special ones. That his love of kids are abundant, not only his, but Bunny's and Carolyn's and so many of the folks. Think about the excitement, even someone like me holding a snake. Can't imagine. 800-753-2264. You heard him talk about memberships for $40 a year. That's 40, not 400, not 4,000, but $40 a year. The excitement to get out here. Camp starting June 6th through the 10th. It's day camp from ages 6 to 11. Give them a call, learn about it, or go online at wildlifeaction.com. Only $100 for that whole week from 8 to 1. Take the time, learn more about Wildlife Action, get involved.